Hi, everybody. My intent was to come and ask about like the first three things you would tell people in the Occupy movement about what's happening with collapse and what they can do to prepare. What kind of focus they can have in like the GAs in regards to that.
Well, I think it was all best summarized from a metaphorical standpoint when Occupy did not issue a list of demands. And I was in touch with people at Occupy Wall Street right after it started. And I made it clear that the longer that the Occupy movement did not issue a list of demands, the shorter the list of demands would become. So we're no longer at a point where anybody in their right mind would recommend or demand on reinstituting Glass-Steagall. That's too late. And that's been very clear because the only thing that's at stake right now is the survival of our species and all life on this planet. That's where it's come to. And the only thing that will make a difference, it's my trademark line, until you change the way money works, you change nothing. The destruction, the insanity, the lying, the criminality, the obvious failure of every government in the world to do anything to take care of its people is going to continue until we eliminate compound interest, fractional reserve banking, and fiat currency. That's the heart of the beast that's killing everything.
What's the best bet at striking at the heart of the beast?
That's where we have to get spiritual. We have to hope for, and I see it clearly. It's happening. There is a wonderful shift in human consciousness taking place. There is a massive awakening. That's a dog squeezing on the toy over there.
He's awake.
It's not wildlife being eaten on my property. It's just a tennis ball that squeaks. Okay.
I can verify.
So, the question, which I think really we're all just observers for now, rather than actors, is whether the change in consciousness can take place before everything gets destroyed. We're at that part of the movie. I mean, World War III is already underway. We've had several nuclear facilities blown up in Iran, and the quick background is where the West wants to topple President Assad in Syria. Syria and Iran have a mutual defense pact, but Iran has a mutual defense pact with China also. So the whole world now is hanging in the balance, and it looks like this stupid-ass war is, I don't know how it can be stopped. Shots have already been fired. It would lead to an attack on Iran, and at that point, I have no idea what can save it. So, if you were to ask me what I think should happen now, it's a miracle, is what should happen. There's some pretty encouraging signs. The village of Wuhan in China is standing up. It's got the whole Chinese government, and they're using Occupy tactics. They've been nonviolent. They have been standing in solidarity. Their leaders have been killed, and nobody's fought back. That's our weapon, and I made that very clear. And you know that's why Occupy has been different from every other uprising all over the world. And I can't predict how or where it's going to pop up next, or where this wonderful consciousness is going to reveal itself or manifest. But I know that it's important to keep the consciousness alive, because it's powerful. I have a radio show on Sundays, and on the Progressive Radio Network, and
The Lifeboat Hour?
The Lifeboat Hour. Yeah. A couple of weeks ago I had Dave DeGraw and Ian Escuela and the wonderful Shamar Thomas as guests on my show, and which prompted me right away to turn around and try to schedule one with all the beautiful women of the Occupy movement, because that has not been appreciated.
I agree with that.
My own experience at Occupy Santa Rosa, and I was deeply involved there, was I worked with some amazing women. And what the Occupy space was, I think, was a space where the sexes could discover each other as equals. And there was those camps were so sacred. They were holding such important space, and miracles were happening in those camps. So I salute all the women of the Occupy movement, and this is where I'm perfectly willing as a man to sit back and just ask the goddess for help and say, we don't know what to do.
Bless your heart. As far as like homesteading and preparing at home, what kind of message could we as media be pounding into people's heads for the Occupy movement to get that message out there?
Well, obviously, everybody's home is different.
Sure.
Not everybody is as blessed as they are to be where I am right now. So this is, you have to make the best of what you have. There's an old Special Forces axiom that says, use what you have to get what you need. Okay? And at CollapseNet, my site, we have an absolutely free Lighthouse directory with 1,600 hand-picked screened entries where you can find the answers to what you need to do to start growing food or whatever relative to your specific situation, whether it's Chicago or, wherever, and apply them to your needs. A lot of the work's been done. This is not a mystery. It's known what to do, and you can grow food even in a city, in window boxes or on rooftops of buildings. So a lot of the work's been done. And if you're just starting now, I got to tell you, you're a little late to the party, but you're still going to be faster than most of the people out there now. So right now, you just have to be aware of what's happening. I think that's the first thing. You really have to comprehend that this is the collapse of human industrial civilization.
It's difficult to get that across to some of the folks in the Occupy movement because they're focused on the banks.
Right.
It's sort of a trickle down, like, okay, connect those dots. So I guess where I'm coming from is trying to help them connect those dots without, it's difficult.
Denial is a psychological dysfunctionality, okay? And so it really doesn't make sense to try to fight or argue with it. I mean, if you cannot miss that Japan is mortally wounded as a result of Fukushima, that by now probably a third of the population has been fatally contaminated with cesium, plutonium, strontium, all the stuff that scattered the global food chain is involved. Peak oil is here. And I think probably the scariest thing for us is that we've had major confirmation this week that there is a massive melt in the Siberian tundra in the Arctic Circle. And gigantic plumes of methane are rising into the atmosphere. This is a worst case tipping point scenario. And we're talking over hundreds of square miles. Massive melts of methane gas that has been frozen for 15, 20, 30,000 years is now being released, and methane is 20 times worse for the atmosphere than carbon dioxide is. Tipping point event.
We've been warned about this.
Some people have been screaming about it
Yeah.
for quite a while now.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, if all people can see is the banks, God bless them. And this is where I think some of the evolutions in Occupy have been good, because affinity groups have been able to pull apart ones who saw things similarly and pursue those. So if people don't see that now, my gut inclination is because I'm in a really unique position. I'm known all over the world. CollapseNet, my company's in 68 countries. And I get feedback from all over the world. And what I'm aware of is that there's a bunch of people over here who don't get it, but there's this amazing number of millions of people who do understand this is the collapse of human industrial civilization. I don't have time. I'm only human, okay? So we go with the ones who are awake.
I almost feel like I'm carrying that baton.
Well, there's a lot of us carrying the baton.
Yeah.
I had this amazing, very revealing exchange with a former Army Ranger. I'm in touch with a lot of vets, and the vets have really, yo bros, all you vets who've come out to support Occupy, my brothers in arms, I fucking love your silly ass, and that even includes Shamar Thomas. He's kind of ugly, but he's all right, and he's a Marine, which is even worse.
Semper Fi.
Semper Fi. So, what was I talking about?
the vets that have come out and, that you're connected with?
An exchange. And again, it's so much like a matter of perspective, where you need an altered state of consciousness to see this. But he was emailing like, what do we do to get more people to see it? And it just hit me. That's not the problem. The problem is to get all of the people who do see it to be able to see each other. Once we all became aware of the millions, tens of millions of us who see this clearly, if we could just realize that there were that many of us, it would change the playing field completely.
And the energy shifts too,
Yes.
in that way.
Yeah, that's the 100th monkey deal. That's
Right.
you know, and that's what a spiritual shift also